Right.
You know, the
Well,
downtime
listen,
is hard.
I was just in New Orleans. I performed there on Saturday.
Right, at the Singer Theater.
Awesome. It's always great down there. And when you walk around New Orleans, it just doesn't look like any other city. You know what looks like every other city? Canal Street.
Right.
That's
right,
right. You walk down Canal Street, and it's like, and that's where the hotel was, like, oh. And then you turn the corner, and you're like, I'm on a movie set. And it just struck me that when, after Katrina hit, and of course your show takes place in that period,
Right.
that there were actually some people who said, you know what, let's just let this city die. It's too far below sea level.
Right.
It's just ridiculous that we could let one of the most amazing cities in this country go away.
New Orleans is the northernmost Caribbean city, the last Bohemia, one of the great ports of the world.
You live there.
Everything. I live there.
Right.
New York and Los Angeles. I am tri-coastal, but that's my heart. That's my home, New Orleans. And for all of those people who said that, they would never say that about New York. When Sandy hit, they didn't say, you know, hey, let's just let New York City go. Man, you know, it's been there for a while. No, it's not valuable, whatever.
And I'm from New Jersey, and honestly, if we had to let the Jersey Shore or New Orleans go, I might have to say goodbye to them.
But New Orleans is too valuable, and especially when it comes to culture, because we express the American aesthetic in everything that we do.
Right.
We have form and freedom within form. That's what jazz is all about. That's what our culinary world is all about. And that's the important part of New Orleans. And
So both of your HBO shows, The Wire, which is a great show, and True May, they really kind of deal with the, you were on it, right?
Yeah, made a
Great show.
They kind of deal with the fact that there are two Americas, and one of them is a third world country. I mean, when you live in the inner city, I think we learned from these shows, you're kind of living in an occupied country. You know, there's no decent food to buy, and the cops are always hassling you. And I know you have at least dealt with one of these issues because you walk the walk. You've tried to bring real food into places where there isn't any real food, where you only eat at McDonald's or you don't eat.
Right. I have started a new grocery store chain called Sterling Farms, and our business model is to go into underserved areas, into food deserts, and try to make them food oasis, and make sure that we bring access to fresh, affordable, healthy food. But we have the bad stuff too. We have a full grocery store. But the fact is, so many American companies see the inner city and they stand on the sideline. They can look at China and they can look at India and see emerging markets, but they look at our inner cities and they stand on the sideline. And we say we're going to step up to the plate because there's wealth to be managed there. And that's why we need to have policy like HFFI, which is what I'm using, the Healthy Food Financing Initiative, which is in the Farm Bill, which the GOP is stopping. And it's stopping an American business from serving the people in an American neighborhood. So they are hypocrites when it comes to that.
Okay.
Talk about the Medicaid that's being denied, like in my state of Louisiana, where Bobby Jindal was saying, I'm not going to accept this money. One of the poorest states in the nation, where he's not doing anything.
How much money is Medicaid being spent in Louisiana today? How much money? It's driving state budget deficits everywhere.
Well, yeah, it's driving state budgets everywhere, but he's not doing anything about it.
But
he's not doing anything about it.
But it's the federal government that's paying for this, so it's not going to increase that.
For 3 years.
And then 90% after that. So it's not really going to. Well, okay.
It's not. This is not a fiscal call. This is a political call. People like Governor Jindal in Louisiana, Governor Perry in my beloved state of Texas. In Texas, 1 out of 4 Texans have no health insurance, and he's turning away money that, by the way, not only are poor people going to suffer, but hospitals who treat them.
I mean, as you know with Bobby Jindal, I mean, sometimes the Republicans do put people out there and they think they're going to be a great big star, and then we get a look at them and we go, whoa.
Sure.
It's like
the GOP is very good.
I mean, it's like watching an armless guy paint with his ass.
I would say.
Come on, Bobby Jindal, remember Marco Rubio? Remember that? Okay, now we're here on overtime. Wendell, are there plans to rebuild the 9th Ward? The 9th Ward is still not rebuilt?
No, the 9th Ward is not rebuilt.
Wow.
I actually just had a story recently on how so many of the properties that were sold back in the Road Home program are still not put back on commerce. I actually was talking to someone in city government who was head of one of the council person's staff, and she said that the 9th Ward isn't viable. And I asked her, I said, well, how many times have you been to the 9th Ward? And discovered, well, I've never been there. Right? But you're making decisions about whether or not it's viable to come back. It's a lack of political will. It's political neglect.
Is it the poorest area? Is that why they say that?
It is. Actually, I think they're trying to get everyone to move out so then they can expropriate all the properties because it's right there by the river, you know?